What's going down, everyone? Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, it started counting up. I was confused. I guess that's what happens when I don't start exactly on time. Shout out to everyone that's in here. What a great time to be an internet producer and specifically a BeatStars user because they just surpassed the $100 million mark for sending money out to their users. And I think it's a cool juxtaposition between, you know, beats. They can't hear me. Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Can anyone hear me? You guys are killing me. Someone says they can't. Tech says he can't hear me, and then no one else chimes in. Okay, maybe it might be you, Tech. All right, cool. So I was saying, I think, right now it's. Oh, I'm low. I'm like super loud in my headphones. Hold on. Hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Is that any better? Okay. Damn, it's like super loud for me. So I think it's an um, interesting time, great time to be a BeatStars user. I feel good about it because when you look at the, you know, rants from various mainstream artists like Kanye West or what's going on with Logic, and then you compare that with BeatStars celebrating the, uh, $100 million milestone for paying out their users. There's a big difference. So I think a lot of us could really put that into perspective, even if we're not making a ton of money. It's a great time to be in this space. So that being said, I want to bring on my team, the Vintage Vandals, one by one. Let's see how this goes down. Oh, people are talking about me being fuzzy DJ Payne One. Look at Dream Life. He's letting his hair grow out.
Oh yeah, bro. Bob is
so I
straight
can talk
down
about his
there,
hair
bro.
all I want, because he can't say anything because he's muted.
Y'all looking good.
Actually, somebody speak. This is incredibly
Wow.
uncomfortable.
I'm getting a lot of echoes here.
Crazy feedback, man.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have looked at each other before we started.
Well, I know
How you guys doing?
Payne, you got your speakers on or something? It's like coming out and then into your mic.
Well, it's because my mic is turned way up, and so it's coming through my headphones now. Hold on. My headphones are ridiculously loud.
Yeah, it's like we're doubled. You're not. Payne, you are not. But the three of us are doubled.
I know what's going on.
Let's make a beat.
Hey,
it's fine now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
Fixed.
We're good.
Dope.
I got it. Okay, cool. So, let's get started. This is gonna be interactive as always, but I'm gonna be a little more interactive this time. So please ask questions. Usually, I'm a little uncomfortable asking certain guests some of the questions that you pose, because some of the questions border on inappropriate. These are people that I'm more comfortable with, so I'm more willing to ask them the inappropriate questions. I just always think, and I'll still ask a lot of my guests that I'm not too familiar with the questions that you post, but I'm always thinking in the back of my head, is this question from Bufo going to destroy my relationship with this guest? And so far, I don't know if it has or not, but we're actual friends, so I don't think Bufo asking Memory about, Craigslist dating is going to offend him. So let's kick things off right now, and let me just go around the room. I want to know everyone's musical backgrounds, first of all, because I think it's an interesting picture. You know, all of us coming together with very different musical backgrounds. I guess in the order that everyone's in. So Dream Life, Memory, then Stack.
Perfect. How you guys doing? I haven't actually spoken to any of you guys in person for a while. Just Instagram chat. Yeah. So basically, my musical background is probably really similar to most of the people in the chat today. I come from a pure beat making background, sampling, digging for records. Started on an MPC 1000, so I actually didn't start as a musician playing the keys or the guitar or the bass, more of sort of an out and out music producer, finding loops and whatnot. And sort of as I've gone deeper into the process, I've, you know, obviously always kept up practicing the keys and try to be as musical as possible. And over the years, managed to get some musicality going on. But I come, so I come from the music producer / sound engineer background more than anything else.
Memory. Is he frozen?
No.
He's just relaxed.
Nope, he's there.
I don't know if you can hear us though.
No, this describes our friendship right now. He just doesn't listen to me. Okay, Stack, what's your musical background? Yeah, I think your internet connection is going in and out because you look a little matrixy right now. But we'll check in with STACKTRACE and then we'll go back to you, Memory, just in case there's some kind of temporary thing going on.
Yeah, so for me, I mean, I was probably about 6 or so when I first started taking piano lessons. We had an upright piano in our living room, and I would always mess around on that and just come up with melodies, and and so from there I was classically trained pianist, and I really got into house music before anything in the late 80s, early 90s. I grew up not too far from Chicago, and that's where I learned how to DJ, was house music, and I was producing that, and then kind of transitioned to hip hop. Beat maker, but mostly a keyboard player. Like, that has always been my main focus. I've let other people do beats. But yeah, I mean, long story short, went to college for music, graduated there from a school in Indiana, and I moved to Nashville, and I was touring for a number of years as a keyboard player in country music. And then I came out of that and switched back into DJing and producing, and that's when I got involved with these guys. 10, 12 years ago, Pain and Memory, something like that. Mm-hmm. Some of the beat battles in Madison. So, and linked up with Dream Life a few years ago. I think it was at A3C.
Yeah, that's right, in Atlanta.
Yep. And here we are.
Yeah, so I think my internet connection was giving me a break because I don't know how to like where I started, where I'm at right now. It's just a blur. But let's see. So I was in Madison Boy Choir, which was like a singing choir for kids when I was younger. And then from there, I started learning violin and viola, and I played that all the way through high school. Did a lot of competitions with that. I started playing guitar in 8th grade. My dad got me my first guitar. So, and that was something I kind of just strung along as like an extra instrument to kind of play once in a while. I was big into like Green Day and Metallica and stuff like that for a bit. And then I was in a couple bands, but I never really liked to play in actual bands because there was just too much like trying to get together and everyone practice their parts at home and then come together and practice as a band and then find gigs, and it was just all over the place. So I started producing like sort of techno and hip hop together around like 1998, 1999. And then that sort of progressed and spiraled as I started to get more equipment, because I just had like a really shitty old computer and like the first Fruity Loops and then the first version of Acid. And then from there, oh man, there's just been so much. But yeah, I've stuck with Acid, so that's my dog, just like Pain. So we are both cursed in the exact same way.
It's your fault. You're the one who told me to do that.
Yeah, and but no, it really
No, but
actually is a
nothing. That's what
decent
happened.
DAW,
That was
when it works right.
that's what happened.
But
All
you know,
right,
Fruity Loops took a dip. But anyway, yeah. So then I hooked up with these guys. I mean, I've been with Pain since '99 or 2000, 2001 or something like that, and we've been producing forever. And then I met Jan. I'm glossing over you for a minute, Steve. I'm going to come back. But Jan, I met you 2 years ago now, was it?
Yeah, met obviously being a loose term because I've actually never met you in person. But yeah.
Around that time, that's when like the Vandals sort of got together.
Yeah.
And that's when I started working more with Steve, who also was in the beat battles that I was in prior, but actually never battled with him. But I saw his initial battle, and Payne and I were like whispering back and forth, like, man, this guy, like, he can kill it on the keys. Like, listen to that. And then they started working together. So it's been a lot of fun. You know, I hope you got all that based on all the glitchiness I'm getting. So
yeah, no, I think what's funny too is like I'm the common link between all of us, but I'm not the one that came up with the idea to create this Vintage Vxndals collective. And I don't remember whose idea it was.
That was Jan.
I can't remember.
yeah.
I think it was you.
I think it might have been. I think what we did was we actually made a bunch. I think we made like 10 or 20 samples, just like
Separately.
loosely, sort of over the span of a couple of months. And then when we got them back and we started sending them out, we were like, well, you know, we can't really have people credit our productions with all our names on it, right? So it makes much more sense for us to sort of band this together as a collective. And from there, things have kind of just taken on a life of their own, really.
Yeah, I think it was that you and Memory got a bunch of like Currency records, and then you and Stack did the Logic, did the Wiz Khalifa, and then it was just like, why are we doing all this stuff separately?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think, like I said, it just makes much more sense for people to see like a common name on all of this stuff rather than like a combination of our names. You know, so even if, for example, there's a sample I've made with Pain and we get it placed, for example, it will say Vintage Vxndals, or, you know, if it's STACKTRACE and Memory, you know, Vintage Vxndals rather than just two separate names and the producer. I just think it's much more cohesive. Yeah, it's kind of how we've been doing it.
And it's appropriate that we're here on this platform now because we did meet through BeatStars.
Correct.
Dream Life and I met for the first time. I don't know how many years ago, 3, 4 years ago.
That was I think it was 3 or 4 years ago in Atlanta, and then that was at the BeatStars conference, and then actually the year after that is when I met STACKTRACE, I believe.
Yep.
So yeah, it's definitely all been linked through BeatStars, which is crazy dope as well.
Yeah, that was the Airbnb, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a BeatStars house, but I think it's especially crazy because, you know, we're talking about creating a collective that's gotten pretty big placements, you know, like Billboard #1 albums and stuff. So the backdrop is a platform for licensing beats online to unsigned artists. So it's just, I was musing over that the other day where I'm like, you know, the more I'm focusing on building my brand up as a producer who primarily uses BeatStars, it feels like I'm getting more opportunities in the you know, the so-called industry with like the majors. So it's weird. I don't know if you feel that same way, Dream, or any of you.
I definitely feel that way. I went through a few years where I was on BeatStars, but at the same time, almost separately, I was kind of doing the industry thing, you know, emailing beats out and doing that whole thing. And I really got limited results doing that, just because I feel like I wasn't focused enough on my own brand to where, you know, I could be comfortable sending beats out and not getting responses because, you know, I'm making money on my, you know, leasing beats or whatever. And I think that gives you just a lot more creative freedom. Like, you know, you don't have to, so, you know, sometimes I used to get these emails from industry people that just be like the craziest description of beats that you can possibly imagine, you know, like country mixed with salsa with a techno backdrop, you know, and then they'd give you a reference that doesn't sound anything like it. And it's just like, I got tired of doing that. And BeatStars really helped me sort of not have to jump through hoops and kind of be okay if I'm not getting placements. I'm good if I'm not getting placements. Obviously, they're a bonus. And if they come through, that's great. But, you know, I'm kind of not needing that industry money to put bread on the table, which I just think is a massive blessing, to be honest.
Yeah, you know, one interesting thing too, or at least I think it's interesting, is the three of us, myself, Memory, and Pain, we live within about 20 miles of each other, and Dream lives about 2,000 miles away from us. So, but we, you know, if we could all get together in the same room and create, we would absolutely do that, and we have plans to do that. Obviously, COVID has changed everybody's plans, but we were actually talking about that before COVID came. And we still will, but it's like, you know, we're able to collaborate online. We just send stems back and forth, and that's how we get tracks done. So it's great. I mean, the internet, imagine trying to do this if you had to mail tapes or something, or everybody had to have the same tape machine, or if digital audio.
I mean, it just wouldn't be possible. I mean, it just wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty crazy how easy that has been made, and BeatStars has been great for that too.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd say something.
So last time,
I missed the initial question, but anyway, keep going.
well, I was gonna say the last time we were all on here, we were talking about the Russ record that we did,
right?
And this time we have a couple other records to talk about. So I think for me, the really cool one was working on the Lox album,
right?
And that's cool. Well, because Jadakiss is one of my favorite rappers, and then the Lox is just a legendary group. And to have them back, and especially, you know, with the major label machine behind the
and also let me just interject, and the fact that they still sound as good as they always have, like I think that's massive too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's, you know, they're now with a major again, and you know, it's cool to see this happen because I just worked on the last Public Enemy album, and they're back with Def Jam, which means I'm not probably getting paid for a long time, but it's still cool to see that push behind, you know, a legendary hip-hop group making music in 2020. So with regards to the Lox record, and I'm glad that Memory talked about his history as a choir boy, because this is important.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
we'll
I wouldn't have
that.
said it otherwise. It was a foreshadow.
It was. Anyone who caught that is in for something. As a matter of fact, let's talk about that, because I think we all have our sessions open and we can share exactly what we did to create the beat. The name of the beat is, the name of the song is Come Back. Shout out to Static Selected for putting this together. And we, I think, went through a couple different versions of this. This wasn't an easy situation. It wasn't like the Russ record where he just liked it as is and used it. This is different. We went through a couple revisions. So I know I have a few versions, and I'm pretty sure the version, I don't even have the final version on my computer. I think
I think I'm the only one that has the final, but we'll talk about why in a minute. But yeah,
because you have all the power and influence.
Right. Apart from that, no. But yeah, I've got basically the final session, but I think that's the only session I have. Like, I don't have the in-between sessions because I think you guys did most of the musical work, and I was kind of the guy at the end that kind of just grabbed the ball and ran over the line. I think that's kind of how this one came about.
Hold on, let's get this out of the way. The answer is no. And moving on, I think I can open mine first because I have the super early version, and then I'm curious to see what's on Memory's computer. So let me hold on. Let me share my screen. And actually, hold on, I gotta switch over my sound card because nothing's ever easy with live streaming audio from a DAW.
I won't spoil it, but memories adds were the highlight of this track.
Yeah. Oh, damn, we've got the delay back.
Yeah, you're gonna have the delay back. Sorry. That's just how it's gonna have to be. So here is, I know, guys, I know.
It's in stereo too. It's cool.
Yeah, I switched to stereo.
Man.
Oh my god, I hate when this happens. You see this? Oh my god, this is the most frustrating. I'm just gonna close the damn thing and reopen it. Why does this happen?
I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to share. The glitching is like out of control right now.
All right, well, guys, just stop freaking talking for a minute. You're killing me right now.
I'm gonna be.
Nah, I can't get it.
STACKTRACE was the only person who muted himself, and everyone else. Memories over there playing the spoons and the harmonica. Alright, as you can see, it's taking forever to load because I have some contact instruments and whatnot. But this is my version of the Lox record. The name of the record is Come Back, and it's off the new project. So these pianos were played by Stack. I'll just play you. I don't have any of the drums or anything. So the really cool part that I want Memory to talk about is the vocal part. Will you come back? Because if I solo that, will you come back to my... We chopped it as though it were a sample, but it's actually him singing a whole lot. Will you come back tomorrow?
I hear fire.
I feel so alone. So there was a lot going on, and yeah, that is Memory. So I want to see what is in his session, just because he did a lot to his vocals to make them sound that way. And I think the last thing that anyone expected to hear on this track was Memory singing. Oh, he's muted because I muted him.
You muted me. You mutiny. So I don't know if I can really show mine without there being a bunch of problems. I don't know what's going on with my internet, but should I just talk about it? Might as well just talk about it.
Yeah, just let's see. I mean, if there are problems,
just press play and see what happens.
Yeah, it's such a mess. Here, let's see. Let's see if you can even hear it.
It's not a mess. It's authentic.
We could hear it through your speakers.
I mean, yeah. Here, hold on one second. Let's see.
If you turn that up.
Hold up. I gotta turn this on. Oh man. Okay.
While he's doing that, one thing I didn't know that was in there is that fake. We call it fake guitar part, but that was like redlined.
That distortion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you come back tomorrow? Can you guys hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So should I try and share my screen? Just so you can see how insane what I do looks.
I'd like to
I'm just
see
going
it.
to try it. All right. Let's see. Let's see what happens. All right. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can see it. All right, good. Okay, so it was kind of difficult to figure out because I was going off of a piece of the actual sample that they had originally, and I was trying to recreate. I probably shouldn't play the original just in case we have a problem with copyright.
Good idea, man.
Okay, yeah. So anyway,
because no one knows what it is.
Okay, so don't play it though,
Yeah.
right?
No.
I mean, I don't even know what it is, like who it is. So anyway, okay, I'm not going to play it. But anyway, there was a sample, and I had to try and figure out how, because they already pitched it up, so I had to figure out how could I sing it and then get it in the right register. And at first, I tried to, I did a lot of different things. Like I couldn't figure out what exactly I needed to do to get it to sound just right. So the first thing I did was I tried to sing it really, really slow and then pitch it up 12. So I had this. Will you come back tomorrow?
I had no idea.
Right?
I remember you sending these audio clips to us whilst you were doing it. I was like, what is this?
So but when you speed it up, like check it out, like
Will you come back tomorrow?
That's plus 12.
Yeah, that's plus 12.
Take it all back to sorrow.
Okay, so that was too Mickey Mouse, chipmunk, whatever. Like, and that's the biggest issue with trying to recreate vocals. So instead, all I did was I figured out that if I do it down 4, so I had to actually sing it, down 4. And the way I did that was I took the actual sample, and I'm not sure where the part is, but I pitched the whole thing down 4. Like, pitched the entire actual reference that we had down 4. And I sang it over that. Singing over something and trying to still have like good inflection is really difficult, because you're trying to listen to one thing. And also I had to like kind of change my voice, like, make it more like dramatic. So I had to be more like sort of sing it like opera-ish, I guess.
Memory, can you also talk about how you actually had to rewrite the lyrics completely?
Oh yeah, and I rewrote the lyrics too. So yeah, it's funny if you compared them. They're like so similar. Like I kept the same, number of syllables and the same, and like matched like the end words so that it's still, I could still like vocalize those particular pronunciations, or, because if you sang a different word, it just wouldn't sound the same. So yeah, that was the easiest part actually, because and I forgot to say this before, when someone commented that said I don't like, some people don't like to perform live. That's not true. I don't like to perform in a band, but I rapped for over 10, 15 years. So I was always performing live. I did a lot of shows, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to correct that anyway.
You tell them, man.
While I have the floor, I just wanted to say that. So yeah, I've had my share of performing, and hope to perform more.
Take that, whoever commented.
Yeah, take that. So anyway, here's the actual sample, and this is what I sang, and this ended up being the real thing after I pitched it up.
Will you come back?
Oh yeah, okay, here, sorry.
Will you come back tomorrow?
So is that the plus 4?
This is without the plus 4.
Okay.
Feel so alone. Take it all back, this sorrow. Take it all back from me.
So yeah, so then pitch it up 4, and then I stacked it. There's a bunch of stacks, and and then obviously it got a bunch of work from other people. I'm not sure who mixed the record, if that was just Static himself, but the other thing I did,
it would have been. Yeah.
Okay. The other thing I did was played this guitar, because if you listen to the outro, that's where like they I sing the whole thing, and they have some of my guitar underneath it. So this is kind of what that sounded like.
Will you come back tomorrow? I feel so alone. Take it all back, this sorrow. Take it all back from me.
Yeah, so here we go. That's in a nutshell what I added to it. So
Let's get to Bufo's inappropriate question. Did you use auto-tune?
no, I did not. There are no effects on my vocals. I am effective.
Not even compression, right? Like literally not even EQ, like nothing.
No, nothing.
I put compression on your vocals and EQ on them.
Yeah, I imagine somebody puts there's some reverb on it later on, and this and that. But
I think I did. I think then I put more compression and EQ on top of Payne's compression and EQ too. So,
I mean, obviously it needed some compression. You can look at the waveform here, and it just jumps out of control here and there. But and the compression levels it out. So
the thing is, though, I mean, what you got to keep in mind as well is that often on the original record it did that too. So like that's all part of the feel that we needed to go for, was like slightly unbalanced vocals. If you had like perfect vocals at like perfect compression, it's probably not going to have the feel that we need, right?
Yeah, I would say.
I think that's the fun part about doing this stuff, like making, samples.
Intentional mistakes.
Rules. Yeah, but like all the rules of clean recording and all that stuff goes out the window. If I want to record myself doing this, and just throwing reverb on it and not doing anything else, just so it doesn't sound compressed, hey, I can do that because back in the 60s, 70s, a lot of the recordings, they weren't informed by modern technologies and modern processes. So that's a big reason why they're so appealing, because they don't sound super clean and they don't sound super balanced the way that our stuff is now. It's way more organic. So it's just fun because it's almost like anything goes. It's a lot of experimentation.
Right. Yep.
So yeah.
So one thing we didn't talk about at all was Stack and his piano playing, and some people.
That's what I want to see. I want to see how that MIDI looks.
Yeah, and I'll share my screen, but unfortunately, I don't think my audio is going to work. So I'll share it, and then if it doesn't, then somebody that does have the audio, I can talk about that. Let's share here. All right, you guys see the share now? You see Ableton?
No.
No? It says I'm sharing.
There you are. There you go. You good? Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, I mean, there's not much to this really. I think I'm trying to remember. I don't even have everybody's parts at this point. I think my part.
Did you do the intro separately too as well?
Yeah, I did.
Right.
I did, and I was looking for that track. I'll try to find it here a little bit because I did that in a separate. Because the intro, I played it, and I want to say I quantized it, and then I sped it up. Is what I remember doing there. That wasn't me playing real time. I think I like half timed it.
I think just to interject, I think when we actually heard the song that needed to be replayed, like something that we all said together was like two things about this are going to be really difficult, and it was obviously the vocals, which we just covered, and then the other thing was the intro, because the original has a very different but sort of similar, arpeggiated piano where we were like, holy shit. So I think, man, lucky we got STACKTRACE because otherwise we would have been like,
Yeah, well, and so the funny thing is, I think in the actual record, so the final recording, the master recording, Static or somebody reversed it, didn't you?
Yeah, he did. I think honestly, one of the reasons that may have been behind that was just sort of, it was close to the original. It was very close to the original, that intro in the end. So I think that might have been behind that.
Yeah, and I think that little glide that comes before those two octaves, those two like lower notes, I thought Payne 1 did that because I don't think I did that. But I think I just did that. And then I did the main piano line. And then the other piece, let's see if this plays. Do you guys hear that?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay, and I don't have my speakers here. So if somebody can pull up the Rhodes part on their
I got
DAW.
it. But you won't be able to
I
hear
got
on
it
mine.
actually.
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah.
Because the thing about that, so I have a Rhodes 73, a Fender Rhodes 73, and it has some busted keys on it. Some of the tines are missing. I think one of them was broken or something, and it happened to be the main note of this riff. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be, I'm going to have to transpose or something. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to leave that grit, that dirt, that broken Fender Rhodes in there. And I remember, I think I contacted you, Dream. I'm like, you hear this key clank really loud in here, and it's kind of bad and stuff. And if I need to fix it, just let me know. And I think you were like, no, man, just leave it in there.
No,
so,
I think we talked about sort of making intentional mistakes.
Yep.
To make it sound more authentic. I think it's super dope to do that.
Yeah, this is just a product of me having a busted Rhodes that I haven't fixed yet. So.
Right. I mean, to be fair, it would not have been very difficult to fix, but I think once you sent it, it was just like, it was great.
Yeah.
So there's no need to fix.
You should probably
let's
hit
hear
your
it.
Rhodes with a baseball bat.
Have you got that memory? I've got it here. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it.
What? Yeah, I don't have the intro part. I just looked. Yeah.
I have it here. I don't know how this is going to work in Logic. Let me know if you can still hear me after this. I'm switching over to streaming. Can you hear me still?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you. We should
I
have
don't know
lied
if you're going to be able to hear this.
just to mess with them.
Yeah, no.
I know. I would have been
Next
like,
time we will.
I'd have been like, see you later, guys. All right. Do I need to share screen, don't I? Okay. Yeah, cool. Share screen. Is that like a box I need to check to share
it'll
audio
say
too?
share audio in the lower left-hand corner. I actually really like
damn it.
StreamYard.
I didn't actually see that box. I'm going to try again. Some screens let you share audio. Okay, cool. I don't know if it's going to work, man.
I know Payne has it.
Can you see me? Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. Can you hear this? I can't even hear it, so
No.
yeah. All right, let me try something else. Do an output.
We have a couple of Logic users in here that might have some ideas, but yeah,
guys, if you
audio, it's a pain to live stream with pro audio.
Can you hear that?
No, but now the yeah, I think you might have to change some settings in StreamYard. If you click on the cam/mic icon,
Okay.
it'll change your output.
Okay. Huh. It's just not giving me the audio option for some reason. Like, where you because I've had it working before when I was doing this with Mike, and yeah, it's just not showing up. Here you go. Here you go.
Cross platforms too. He's in a.
Am I sharing myself here, or can you see my screen,
Well,
like
we
my
see-
whole screen?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, just switch over to Logic. It should be good.
psychedelic right now, which is appropriate given the song.
Can you hear that?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
No,
God
sir.
damn. That is
Payne,
annoying.
you had it on yours. That
Yeah,
Rhodes part.
if I switch over to mine, everyone's gonna be mad about the echo, but I can do it.
Yeah, because you can hear all like the busted keys and clinks and clanks and stuff with that Rhodes. That's all I was trying to point out was, that having Rhodes is sometimes a good thing.
Okay, so let me go in now. Apologize for the echo when anyone else talks. Let me find the roads. Here's the roads. So right there, I think. Right?
Yeah. It was there. There's another part later. It's possible you cut out that too. So far, so good.
Yeah, I cut it out here. You can see.
Okay. Yep. Click.
Because I thought it sounded cool like this because there's this slight glitch. It almost sounds like when a record player skips. Listen. So I like that actually,
Yeah.
and so I
Yeah.
left that in. Let me switch back over so that everyone can hear and not lose their minds. There we go.
I think that was it. Like just that Rhodes part, that intro part, and then the main piano high thing, and that was it for my stuff.
Yeah, so there's actually a story. I think you guys loosely know this, but Static Selector hit me up like on a last minute thing. Like they don't like the main piano. Doesn't have enough energy. Can you guys remember me telling you that?
Yeah.
And I think it was
how
like,
can I forget?
and he was like, but we need something like ASAP. They've only just told me, and they're trying to put it out and sort of get it ready for release. So I actually had to spend the day like coming up with a new main piano line. I wanted to be able to play this because it's kind of interesting how like a slight difference in the notes completely changed the energy a bit. But damn, I just can't get this thing working right. I'm gonna try it one more time.
Yeah, and it was actually simplified, but I understand when because I was mad about it. I think we all were a little
Right, because we
demoralized
love
and
the
that's just
original,
part of the
right?
process.
Or at least
Yeah.
I did. And then it was kind of like, oh damn,
Yeah.
And once you get that first email, it's always like, oh shit, where's this going? I honestly don't. Is there any Logic users in here that can sort of like help out with this? I don't know.
Levi
think a
said
lot of
change
times,
audio
too.
preferences to system audio. Does that help?
I think that's what I already have going on.
Okay.
Yeah, system audio. Let me check my.
Just get a PC, man.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Why are you agreeing? You have a Mac.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I know. So I was like, I used to be PC though. I switched to Mac, and I never looked back.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Your entire screen application window just doesn't give me the damn option for audio. Like there's no.
So in the meantime, let's point something else out. In addition to us creating, co-productions for records that already exist, we create sample libraries as well that are completely original, and they're available to the public. TheSampleLab.com is where to find them. We just put out a bunch. Like the amount of library, I know some people in the comments know this because they're always telling me that we're making them broke because we put out so many. But it's like damn near once a week. I'd say on average, the Sample Lab releases 3 a month.
Yeah, I would say that's about right.
Yeah.
Hey, Payne, some people are saying they can't hear you. You might want to switch back to your.
I can hear you. Yeah.
It's
I
only
don't know
coming
what
out
they're
of one
talking
ear.
about.
Yeah, it's weird. I got you completely.
Okay, I got you in
But-
one ear.
But yeah, it's the same thing.
Hey, Payne, I got an idea, man. Do you want to keep talking about what you were talking about? I'm going to send you these. I'm going to send you this, and you can just play them back to back. I think it'd be really interesting so that people can kind of see what like how small the margins are with this stuff. From them going, oh no, this doesn't work, to oh, this is it. Like,
Yeah.
give
Well,
me like
and then
1
I want
minute.
to talk about something else too, because we're talking about the successful, outcomes like Lox album. Lox album came out. Russ album came out, and we kind of had a not so successful, but also still kind of successful situation recently with the brand new single from Ari Lennox, who's J. Cole's artist. She signed to Dreamville, and she released a song called Chocolate Pomegranate that was produced by Elite, co-produced by us, and that was a real pain. I'm not gonna
That was
lie.
really tough. That was
Yeah.
really tough. Man, so yeah, Elite hit me because I've been sending beats to Elite for a while now, and we've got a few placements together. So he hit me up for a replay, and it was a tough one. Basically, it was they cleared the sample so I can talk about it. It's a Roy Ayers sample, and the thing about this sample is it had like this old Moog, memory Moog synth line on it, which was like StackTrace can tell you is just like a crazy line, really crazy line. And StackTrace got the line, but we couldn't really nail the sound of the synth. So it kind of went in the direction of they used other stuff that we made for the replay over the top of the sample that they had to clear anyway. So we kind of ended up with some additional producer credit, but we unfortunately didn't manage to replay the whole sample.
Yeah, so they put us. Ooh, how do I sound right now?
You sound fine to me.
You sound
good.
Okay.
Clear. You sound clear.
Right. So there's the other one I'm running through like my studio setup, so I'm running it through my preamp and all that stuff, and this one I'm just using a USB mic. So let me see if I can share my screen. I'll show you because I was kind of sweating over the hold on, let me make sure. I bet you this isn't. I gotta switch back. I'll play you the piano line because I tried to work on the chords and they were really, really hard chords. I don't know what.
Really tough chords.
Well, but who told me that I should? It was you actually, Dream. You told me, yeah, try them out. And I'm like, man, I don't play keys like that. So I'll show you.
You've got a good ear though.
And I had a good enough ear to know that I probably didn't get it right. So let me switch over and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
I just sent you the piano as well, by the way.
Yeah.
It's that last one.
Right. And here's the thing. Payne one will tell you he's not a keyboard player. He's not very good and all this stuff. And he will send me stuff. I'm like, man, you got it. You just put me out of work. And so sometimes what I'll do is try to lace up the track with his chords because they're so dope. It's like he's like it's not nothing special. But I always like what he comes up with there. Especially
so Payne also with that one. I remember like you sent me the MIDI. And you were like two notes off on the last chord. I literally just got it, figured it out, and dragged it down. And then I sent that MIDI, I think, StackTrace, and you replayed that MIDI as well, and kind of added flavor on it as well. I never heard that.
So that lead is coming from Juno 106. The Juno line, which I think don't you have that keyboard?
I have the keyboard, but definitely don't have anything close to what that sounded like as a from a sound design perspective.
Yeah, so that was Juno. I was using the Juno 106 for the lead and Roland Cloud, and then for the bass, I think I used the Juno 106. I don't know if it actually made the cut. And then for like some of the backing pads was the D50 Roland.
I think in the end, literally, they only used the Rhodes that we collectively kind of came together on. Because I actually said to Elite, I said, I've got my guys involved in this because that last chord in that sequence you wanted to play was really kind of weird chord, and we kind of put our heads together to figure it out. And then I also had my bass player play the bass as well, and his bass made the cut as well. But I think that's where I think that's all we managed to kind of contribute to that. But I mean, even saying that, I mean, it's super dope to be a part of that record, though.
Oh yeah.
In any way or shape or form, and sometimes you get the whole record, and sometimes you can just be happy for the little bit that you did do.
And that happened on another record too, right? That we did where we played a whole bunch of stuff, and then they only used certain parts. I can't remember which one though, and if it's even released. So
yeah, I mean, there's a
Wiz
bunch of
joint.
stuff that hasn't been released.
Yeah.
Most of the time with Static Selector, like when we do replace the static, he'll use everything, but he won't use it the way that we presented it to him. He'll like chop it up and rearrange it. Like he almost like produces the sound, you know, the replay. He then produces what we sent him again. Like he never just drops it in. Like there's always like some cool arrangement that he does. So I noticed that about Static as well. But sometimes people
I heard, didn't he doesn't he like press it to vinyl and then sample it again when we send him stuff?
I'm not sure he's done that, but that would be fucking dope.
Crazy, man.
I'm just kidding, man. But,
That'd be crazy.
it would be dope.
That would be dope.
Great. That's going to be a new rumor now. Can you hear me? Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I'm just the USB mic when I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, sorry for the echo throughout. Shout out to everyone that, I mean, our views haven't really dropped from when the echo was starting. So thank you for bearing with the audio issues, especially when there are 4 of us in here, you know, all with our own competing audio issues. So anyway, Bufo wants to know if we're willing to comment on how placements are being split at the top of the game. I don't think any of us consider ourselves at the top of the game.
No.
But I can tell you for sure that you see 4 of us on here, we're splitting it equally 4 ways if we were all involved in it. It's always an equal split. I mean, and that was the thing.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what impressed me at the very beginning, because number one, I had no business walking into these BeatStars sessions when I had like barely 12 beats on BeatStars myself 3-4 years ago. And when I started collaborating with Dream Life the very first time I met him, and you know, in subsequent months, he would always split with me 50-50 no matter what, because sometimes you always have this sort of anxiety going into a situation where you're collaborating with someone, because you think, well, I sent him the idea and he did all the drums and he mixed it, so in my opinion he did more than 50% of the work, but I'm still getting 50%. So that just kind of set the tone. So sometimes it'll be a situation where I just use one of his drum loops and I'm giving him 50% because he did the same thing for me, and it doesn't take anything away from me because we have so much stuff, so much music together, so much collaborative music together. Yeah. It's totally even, number one. Number two, I want to see him win just the same way he wants to see me win. So why would we even bicker over 5-10%? It's ridiculous. But you see a lot of that in the producer community when it comes to collabs and this and that. There's just all of these ownership conversations that I don't think need to be happening. I think, and God, it hurts me to watch because people are fighting about percentages of nothing because it's all in theory. You don't even know what's going to happen. So why would I fight with you at any stage? That's just my opinion, but I know all of you have worked in different capacities with other producers and you've gotten placements that I was not a part of. So how did that look for you?
Different producers honestly do it different ways. You know, and also it depends on the record as well, man. For instance, I'll give you a really good example of a record that I did with Elite, J. Cole's producer. We did a record. I say we did a record. I sent him some samples and he flipped one of those samples and I got a Childish Major placement out of it, which still hasn't dropped. It's on his next album. And he was kind of like, we're going to split everything 50-50. You know, I know that I just flipped the sample, but, you know, everything 50-50, the advance. And I was like, that's great. You know, that's perfect. You know, definitely made me want to send him more samples and kind of give him, you know, the secret stash samples, right? Because if that's the tone of the relationship, then excellent. And also I had memory on that record as well. I'd done a session way back. It was actually one of my first sessions with memory. And a lot of the times, to be transparent as well, I pay memory to play on my stuff. You know, I'm not just sending memory stuff and he's just like playing on it for free all day. I mean, that, you know, that's not fair either. You know, I think as someone that works with live musicians, like for me, one of the most important rules is pay your musicians, man. You know, and it's the same if you work with designers. It's the same as if you work with outside marketers, like pay your people. And I think that should be pay them on time too. So that's how me and Memory actually started working together. And we got that Childish Major placement on a song I'd already written, a sample I'd already written, but he played on it. And yeah, we ended up giving Memory a percentage of that record as well. And everything was great and all the paperwork went through great. So, you know, that's like a fairy tale example. You know, and then there's other situations which, you know, we probably won't be able to expand on too much here, but, you know, let's be transparent. You know, when we did the Russ placement, we had to fight a lot harder for what we got on that record. You know, we had to put our foot down and be like, no, guys, this is what we want for you to clear the sample. They didn't come with like the fairest offer, and you know, it's no shade to Russ. It's not even Russ. It's just the label machine, right? It's the corporate machine, because that was actually Russ dropping a record on a major label. He's independent fully now, but he wasn't at that time. So we had to go, no, guys, that's not going to work. What you're offering isn't the one. So there's no like set like process of how this happens, which makes it kind of crazy. Every time you get a placement, it's completely different and random. But, you know, I guess you just need to know how you value yourself, and also put that in the perspective of how much did I do on the record versus the person that's trying to give me a percentage, I guess, you know. And I don't apply those rules to collabs with Pain or Memory or STACKTRACE like on BeatStars. It's a different thing. Like a major label placement is, you know, I'm going to try and get my percentage, like, you know, fight tooth and nail for it. But, you know, if I'm doing a collab with Memory on BeatStars and he plays a guitar line and that makes the cut, I'm probably going to split it 50-50 just off the strength of, you know, of the relationship. And that's kind of just how I've always looked at it. And I think it just allows you to make more music. It allows better relationships. It allows more creative freedom. You know, there's nothing worse than sitting down and working on a beat when you don't even know, like, you're worried about what percentage you're going to get. You know, I don't think that's a good look. So yeah, it's all different.
Yeah, just to add to that, I mean, like you said earlier, you alluded to this, like you want to see your team win. And that's really it. Like I learned that the hard way long ago when I was in a band that was asked to do a music video for another artist, and all of my band got to do the video except me. And that was because there wasn't a keyboard part in this song. And, you know, it hurt at first. It's like, man, my entire band is going to be on TV and they're shooting this music video and, you know, they're getting paid and all this, but I'm not. So, you know, this was 15 years ago when that happened. But it's like, I don't care because my team is winning by doing this. So, and, you know, it's just good business to set up splits that way, because imagine if you like just started working with somebody and right from the jump, they're like, oh yeah, man, I want 90% because, you know, I arranged this whole thing. I did this, I did the bass part. It's like, man, come on, you know what? And like Payne was saying, sometimes you're fighting over nothing. Like you don't know what you're going to get. It's not like we're talking about, we have guaranteed $1 million here. And then now
you have no idea.
Yeah, we have no idea what's coming. So.
Yeah.
We got more questions coming. A lot more questions coming in now, actually. This is a good one from Bad Brad. How long were you all making music before you made your first sale?
Good question, man.
Oh, I mean, my first sale was like $25, so I don't know.
On
that
was or like
that was, you know, it was a good. No, I was a teenager, and some older guys came over and gave me $25 for a beat.
Right.
Oh, that kind of thing. Okay.
I felt so weird. I felt like I was selling heroin or something. It was just so weird to me to be getting paid for that. And $25, you know, so
that's a similar. And
I think that happened.
It's a similar story to how I had it. It was an in-person transaction where they gave me cash.
Yeah,
it's like what? Crazy.
I was selling tapes. I came out with an EP in 1993, and we were selling for $5 a pop. And I was DJing and making mixtapes, and I was selling those for $5 a pop. So it was always $5 was my thing.
Yeah. I mean, to put an actual number value on how long were you making music before your first sale? I mean, personally, I would probably say it was about 10 years for me. Honestly, it was about 10 years, like literally.
Yeah, I guess it depends for me, like what you mean by like what sale, because I was slanging CDs on the street long before I was making beats for people and selling those. So, I think, let's see, like maybe 5 years was the first time, like when I first sold a CD to somebody or something like that, and even thought about selling music. So that's where it started. And then it was like, 2009, 2010 Pain, where we got the Young Jeezy placement. Is that right?
2008.
2008. So that's the first time I actually got paid for music I added to a beat. And that was session guitar work. That was something that Payne had me come in and lay down some guitars on a beat that he had made. And, we did that all the time. And then all of a sudden, this popped off and
memory. Just sorry to interrupt you, man, but I think you've said this to me before, where you said at one point you didn't see your talent on the guitar as like a thing that you could actually use, to make money with or to get placements with. I think you kind of like put the guitar in the background for a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, it was always in the background just because I always felt like I wasn't a strong guitar player. I mean, guitar is a funny instrument because most people don't learn it in the classical sense. They don't sit down with an instructor and sight read music until they're just the shit. A lot of people just plunk around on the guitar. They listen to songs and then they figure it out that way. And that's really how I learned how to play. So, so when it comes to styles, different styles of playing, and especially like if, I was playing punk and metal and things like that. And in the world of hip hop, I kind of had to flip and switch my game up, because then I started to do more soul and R&B and things like that, which is much more technical. I can't say it's more technical, but at least melodically, I had to know more chords. I had to know how chords fit together better. It was a lot harder to, piece together. And I've learned a lot in the past 10 years now. And it's only in the last 2 years I actually am starting to feel like a stronger guitar player because of all these sample kits that we've been doing, where we are literally studying different genres of music in order to like produce something that can be utilized by hip hop producers. So
right.
Totally crazy how it's all skyrocketed once I really started focusing on it.
Because I guess that's something that people don't realize with these packs as well. It's like, we'd love to say that we're just like magically making this out of thin air, but most of these packs have like major sort of influences. We'll be like, okay, you remember that song from, here's a song from like 1969. Listen to those keys. Like, let's do a whole pack with keys like that. Like that's how this happens, man. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I honestly believe no idea is original, and if you can make music inspired, make a whole pack of music inspired off like one keyboard phrase from the 60s or 70s, like that's amazing. Like, and that's kind of what we try to do.
Yeah.
All right. So on that note, we have a couple questions left, but we're on a strict schedule now with my timestamps and so forth. So one more time, I want to remind everyone, BeatStars.world is the place to go. Follow the BeatStars Instagram and participate in this contest where they're giving away, I think, $3,000 worth of gear, including a blue mic that I've used before. It's really good. Shout out to all the producers on the platform, because $100 million paid out to date is pretty impressive. Obviously, shout out to the Vintage Vandals. You can follow us on Instagram at Vintage Vandals, but there's an X in it, VINTAGEVXNDALS on Instagram. And then also the samplelab.com is where to get all of our sample packs. We have tons of sample packs on there, but we are currently, as it stands right now, we're working, I think, on 3 or 4 together. And then I just finished my new drum kit, which is going to be released shortly, before winter, I believe. And
Black Friday, I believe.
Yeah, Black Friday. So there's a lot going on, and follow along, get the packs when they come out. I think we have something special prepared for November as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And then also shout out your individual social media as well, so everyone can follow you individually. I'll go in the order of Dream Life, Memory, Stack.
Yeah, Dream Life Beats. That's on everything.
Memory 608. That's everything.
Yeah, and I'm DJ.
Oh man, they don't want to see him win.
Timing.
DJ STACKTRACE.
I think it's
DJ
DJ underscore. Yeah,
Oh,
DJ
yeah,
underscore STACKTRACE. All right, DJ underscore STACKTRACE. He's caught in the matrix. He moved out to the country, so I guess that's to be expected. Shout out to everyone tuning in. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for the questions. We'll be back on Monday. Dame is hosting his session, same time, same place. Check us out, musicentrepreneurclub.com, thesamplelab.com, beatstars.world. Thank you, everybody. Peace.
Peace and love, guys.
Peace, love.